Devil May Cry.
Hey Kat, it's Barb with Enchantarium.
Oh, hey Barb. Yeah, you're like my first non-spam call to come in today. You got a job for me, right?
I do, but it isn't a one-person gig.
Oh, so we'll be teaming up then? It's paid, right? It's a paid gig? Because I got toilets that need flushing and, some other things.
If by paid you mean like social media likes, then sure.
Can I at least get a pizza out of it?
Yeah, I guess.
Alright! Let's rock!
Hello?
Hey everyone! Welcome back to another video! It's been a minute. You're getting a mukbang, in case you didn't know. But it's been a minute because life is crazy and busy. Y'all know that. But also because I've spent the last 6 weeks working on this amazing collab with some really amazing, talented friends. I may have said it in a previous video that it was always, I have like a goal list in a journal of all the things that I want to be able to do while in the hobby. And I had a list of people that I really want to collab and do projects with. And I had one more person on my list that I had not been able to collab with yet. And by one more person, I mean persons. And that was Barb and Alex with Enchantarium. I'm super thankful and grateful beyond words that I was asked to be a part of this project and this collab. And I got to work with several of my other super close friends that I've worked with before, like Beth Ramsden, who is super insanely talented, and then also my Lady Disdain. Video games and props. Why Dante and why Devil May Cry? He's a character that doesn't take himself super seriously. He's fun, he's surrounded by beautiful people, he is a beautiful people. He has a twin brother, a bit of a rivalry, and he's half demon, half angel. It's like a forbidden love thing. It's not a super deep game, but they're fun. They've got great combat sequences, fun one-liners, and the character Dante is just, to me, a hoot. He's sassy, he's kind of like, he's super smart and deep about things one moment, and then the next minute he's just like, pizza? Rock music? Where's my jukebox? I had reached out to Kit and Kat Shop like a year and a half ago, asking if they would draft a pattern and some direction so I could make a Dante lookalike for Ben, which is what the dude was supposed to be. Anna is amazing. She drafted up something for me, and I never did anything with it. So this was really the opportunity that came to the table to be able to make Ben's Dante dreams come true. The theme of this video is video game and props. I recall saying in a video, like a year ago, that I'd never work with leather again. Because as I learned, sewing actual leather by hand can never happen again. It's never gonna happen. And if it does happen, I'm gonna need like metal gloves, because oh my god. Yeah, exactly, my words. 95% of the outfit is leather. The boots, the jacket, the pants, we doing some leather. So where do you go to look for genuine leather? Tandy Leather, of course. I didn't even know it was a thing that existed until I worked on a collab with two of my besties for my Witcher cosplay. And they told me about a store called Tandy's. So I ended up looking it up. Well, I'll be danged. Tandy's started in Fort Worth, Texas in 1919. I was getting in well over my head with this project, like, let's just be honest. And to be able to work with folks that deal with leather on the daily and how, like, they walked me through the entire process. All the tools I was gonna need is incredible. So if you get a chance to go to Tandy's, if you're interested in potentially learning to craft or sew with leather, It's incredible, and they teach classes. Some things that I learned pretty early on is that leather is an investment, and sewing leather is an investment. It required a lot of tools and supplies. My very first project after going to Tandy was a great experience, but I had never worked with zippers before. I'm gonna go ahead and insert my zipper adventure clips here.
If you having girl problems, I feel bad for you, son. I got 99 problems, but
when you realize that there are multiple kinds of zippers, the removable zippers and the non-removable zippers, and you bought 2 non-removable zippers. I'm at Michael's. I went to Walmart. The removable zippers are at Joann's, and I only have 2 locations for Joann's. It shouldn't be this hard. It shouldn't. Joann's for the second time. Across town for the win. I got 2 different ones that are separating, so hopefully I can make one of those work. I prefer this one, which is like smaller and more to scale than this gigantic metal monster, which might look cooler on the jacket, but I just feel like it's really heavy and it's going to require more work. This guy right here, which is called an owl, spelled A-W-L. This is actually an upholstery owl, but it's all that Joann's fabric had, and I wasn't able to go to Tandy's because they were closed because of the holiday. But I have to basically poke holes as I'm up my nose. Yeah, really bad idea. Let's not lobotomize ourselves for this. But I had to pre-poke holes before sewing. Challenges that I ran into with the jacket was raw edges. I wanted to do piping on the jacket, but the leather, even though I chose the thinnest leather that I could find, it was very bulky. And the more that you build up layers, the harder it is to sew through, and the harder it is to fold it over to make faux seams. Thankfully, I was able to cut everything so smooth that I don't think that it was that big of an issue. The other issue, or the other problem that I ran into, was I broke needles. Like literally broke needles in half. Literally just bent my first leather needle because I'm trying to punch through 4 layers right now. And as you can see, it's a bit of a mess because it's just, you know, you think you poke a hole all the way through and then sometimes it comes in at an angle and it's not perfect. So a little messier than I would like. I bent one really severely, as you can see in the video, and then there was one day I was sewing and it just split, which is very scary and probably a little hazardous. So poking yourself with a needle that's specific to leather hurts 10 times more, and you bleed a lot more than when you're using just a regular non-leather based needle. Pants, I think the pants were very much the easiest thing that I sewed out of everything else, believe it or not. It was very straightforward. Even adding the zipper was not a big deal. I think the hardest part was figuring out how much to take it in and sewing it appropriately to where they weren't so skin tight, but loose enough to where he can pose and move and do things. I think my biggest challenge with the pants was I wanted to do, like in the knees, it's got this like this quilted stitch look, and hindsight's always 20/20. I would have gotten some padding to make it look more of a quilted look versus just a decorative stitch, which I did a lot of decorative stitching for this project, which is fine. The thing that I'm most proud of for this project was the boots. Hands down the boots. I have kind of made my own boot with a 3D printed sole, like a sock type of boot that I used for my Geralt for The Witcher, but I wanted to try following a Danny Choo pattern, and there was a lot to learn with boots. No. Are they great? Are they better than what I expected them to be? 100% yes. I had some confusion with like things getting turned around and backwards. So the outside of the boot, like the boot that you, like the side of the boot that's decorated with the ring was supposed to be on the outside of the boot, and I ended up getting turned around with my left and right. And so it was on the inside versus the outside, which wasn't what I wanted, but it's okay. And I also had to learn a lot for gluing. Gluing was probably the most difficult and challenging part of the whole boot making process, because how you get it to stick, making sure you don't have too much glue, but it starts to come out from the sides. But I'm really proud of them. I think they turned out really super awesome, and I was happy that I had ordered Chaos because I ended up getting a bunch of CJ rubber soles from Danny, and I have so many of them, and I'm super pumped to make more boots. Like, that's totally a thing that I want to do in the future for sure. And then props. I know the theme for this was supposed to be props, and I feel bad because we want to invest in a 3D printer, hopefully sometime in the near future. And then I also had talked about molding and sculpting the weapons for this collab, but again, I've vastly underestimated how much time it takes to hand sew leather. And so this was a 100+ hour project, and thankfully I have a wonderfully talented, tremendous friend, Michaela Frost, who not only 3D printed for this project for me, she did the 3D printing for my Lady Disdain's character for this project and a future project. Like, she's super great. So thank you, Michaela, for coming to our rescue and printing, especially since she loves video games and cosplay. So this is like the perfect thing. For painting, I really just used acrylic paint, and I used very small layers of it, light layers, and did some darker washing and shadows just to give it more contrast. And I also used metallic paints, which I very much enjoy using. The shirt did not go the way that I wanted it to. So my plan was, I had a Henley CJ shirt that was like a brownish color, and I was like, well, I have blue dye, I'll just color it like a grayish blue. And while the color was phenomenal, it was so tight and so small on the male body, so it was very not safe for work, like at all. So I ended up taking an old t-shirt of mine and cutting it up and sewing it very quickly, like so fast. The face up, I ended up redoing twice. I used the dude's face, which I wiped, and then I did one attempt, and I thought it was okay. It was a little bit more boyish than what I wanted to go for his look. So what I ended up doing was I looked up a few more inspiration photos and did it one more time, and I liked it. I think it looks really good and is about as manly looking as I can get it to appear, just given the general shape of a lot of the Smart Doll heads, and I think it turned out really super well. And Ben did the wig. We had bought the wig. I don't even know where the wig is from, but he ended up cutting the wig, and he did a fantastic job. Has all the layers and looks just like Dante's hair. So of course, last but not least, like, you're here for the reveal. You want to see everything together. So here you go. Check out some videos and some photos of Dante, the hot man that he is.
Crazy. Apocalyptic. Dismal. Badass. Smoking sexy style.
Oh yeah, and before you go, check out my friend's amazing, awesome videos, and give them a like, give them a love, and let us know what you think about this collab. How do you think it turned out? And would you like to see another video game related collab in the future? And if you're new to my channel and you're here for the first time, thank you, welcome. So, as I always say in this house, which does not sound at all like rock music, as I always always say in this house.
Dismal.
So, by Beans Sprouts. Bye. I'm sweat.